from seeing the Don't Breathe, the newest, most new horror movie
Yes,
of
newest
2016.
of new. Brand new.
God damn it. We've seen a bunch of movies in 2016, a bunch
We've
of
seen a
horror
lot.
movies.
Couple.
Some would say the golden age of horror. Who are we talking about? There's a lot of horror movies being made, though.
Yes, it's we were talking about.
And we just saw Don't Breathe, which just came out maybe a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think
starring,
earlier than that, like a week ago.
Starring a boring, stone-faced twerp, nerd.
And then
a
super stereotypical Mexican kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got a man bun, stereotypical asshole guy, and of course, the secret star of the movie that you didn't figure out was the star of the movie until about 3/4 the way through the movie. The lady,
The girl, yeah.
the girl, and
then a blind old man.
the blind old man. But he's the villain. He's the villain, of course.
He's the villain.
First
Yeah.
impressions. What'd you think of Don't Breathe?
Don't hold your breath because it sucked. It's pretty bad.
That one-liner was worse than all the one-liners the man bun guy had.
That's pretty.
Starting with the beginning of the movie where the man bun and and the lady and the dude are heist members or something.
Mm-hmm, there's some
It's-
unexplained, but they heist stuff apparently.
So for reasons that they haven't given us to care about them, they're heisting. The dude, the milquetoast nerd kid, looks like he's heisting, and by heisting I mean they break into rich people's houses and they live in Detroit. Let's try finding a rich person's house in Detroit. But all right, they're robbing people in downtown somehow. Rich people in downtown Detroit.
Well, we find out like how many minutes later that his dad owns like a security company, but that's like not even really like explained really well.
Yeah, conveniently enough, the milquetoast guy he's been in some movies recently. I don't know what his name is. But I really should have looked up his name before we talked about it because he has this stone cold expression, just brick wall expression. The whole movie, literally, the only time his expression changes is at the end after he got the shit kicked out of him, and it's only because his face was forced into changing its expression.
Completely forced by putting makeup on it to change his expression.
Because he got beat up. But regardless, like you're saying, yeah, his dad is a security guy. And I swear, they don't give you any real reason why he's doing that. Why would he be heisting other than he wants the lady?
That's it.
But why?
I guess.
But why is the mean guy heisting? He's just an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, you had the stereotypical nice guy who does everything the girl asks him. And then there's the a-hole, right?
And it's kind of alluded to that she likes him because he's like, stay out of the friend zone. The asshole says that to
It's like,
the
do yourself
guy.
a favor and be a good friend and stay in the friend zone.
Every single line of his was peppered with the worst one-liners ever written by Hollywood, ever.
It was pretty terrible.
Yeah, he existed as the one-liner guy. They're all just bad one-liners.
And he was taken out of the movie fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best.
Probably.
He was pissing me off because he's just so unbelievable. It's okay when there's an asshole on screen, but he was a ham-fisted one to the point where it's the one-liners where it's kind of in your face, forced. Like you're gonna accept this guy's an asshole, not because we're gonna show you, other, asshole stuff they do. Well, I guess he pees on the house for some reason. It's just like he's a bad guy, straight in your face. He's the asshole who you're supposed to root against, and it's almost like it's supposed to create tension, but it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think about the progression? Take it away for a minute. I don't know, because that's how it starts. It's just kind of what, and then the security thing. It's like
so it's just really confusing right off the bat, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense why they're doing this, and then it cuts into seeing that girl and her daughter, right? I think that's what it is. Her daughter, some little girl. I don't know if it was her little sister because it never even said, did it?
Yeah,
right?
That was her motivation,
right? To get this girl, whoever she was, daughter or younger sister.
So it's the girls, the main lead girl's sister or child was in the trailer. They live in a shitty trailer.
Yeah, or something. So their main goal for this big heist they're doing against this blind dude is so that they can move it to California and get away from the crappy life that they're living.
In Detroit, reasonable.
Reasonable, right? why the Mexican guy's doing it, not really explained, right?
He just wants to go to
He
California.
just wants to go to California. The milquetoast white dude doesn't
Didn't
want to
wanna-
do it, but then she texts him, says, please, I really need to get her out of here. And then he immediately changes 180 because he's going to get the poon if he goes and gets her to California, right? Well, that's what he thinks anyway, right? And so he's the sucker that goes ahead and goes with him, right? And so
Against all intellectual
Yeah.
thought.
right, just dumb because he knows because like, well, if we steal cash, it's like a bigger like felony and stuff like that.
Which is weird because like it seems like if he got caught anyways. So a big part of it was like why they didn't want to rob the old blind dude before they rob him. He's talking to them. He's like, if we get caught with $10,000 plus in cash, it's major larceny. That's 10 years in jail or something, right? Well, it's like if they got caught anywhere else, they would realize he's been stealing the alarm codes probably and be able to trace that back through the previous robberies and almost like catch them on multiple counts of robbery.
yeah, it's not going to be like just that one single one that they figure out.
Yeah,
right?
he's gonna get boned
They'll
either
realize,
way.
wait a second, the house that was robbed here has a security system. And this
Yeah.
kid's dad owns that security company. And all the other houses that have been robbed recently have that security company.
Serial robbery.
There's a lot of plot holes in this
Yeah,
movie
and
that don't
he-
make a lot of sense.
He always has this moral dilemma.
yeah, right?
Whether
Just-
it's the robbing the blind guy or the major larceny or the gun,
yeah, the gun, holy cow.
which we'll get into.
Yeah,
but
it's just ridiculous. It's just weird because the whole movie just kind of like didn't like they're like I feel like the point of the beginning of a movie is to get you attached to those characters, right? I wasn't attached to any of them,
yeah,
right? I was almost ticked off. I was like, these guys are robbing a blind dude for no really good reason.
exactly. They don't really give you a reason. Like they say that they need to get out of that trailer. The only way they kind of tried to get you emotionally connected is with the girl because she lives in a horrible trailer with the mom who's like a drunk, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, have you just been sucking? I know you making money. Have you been sucking dick on the street? That's how you making money?
Or something.
Nothing too like. I
right?
mean, that's a little.
And then they try to
obviously
like,
she's a piece of low life, but it's not like I hate her that much to the point where I'm like, oh man, she needs this to rob this blind guy to
Yeah.
get to California. That's what I'm not what I'm thinking at
yeah,
all.
no. And then they try to like again like try to get you more attached to her by telling her that her mom, like when her dad left, blamed it on her and would lock her in her mom's trunk
Yeah.
for 3 hours. But then, don't worry. One day when she was in the trunk, a butterfly flew through the
ladybug.
keyhole. Ladybug, not butterfly. Ladybug.
This is
And
the
she,
story.
she was safe and she felt comforted by that ladybug.
So that's why we should hate. That's why we should be rooting for him. But we should emphasize this: in the beginning of the movie, the main character, the focus of, or at least I thought the main character was the milquetoast guy.
Yeah, me too.
He had the most screen time. He was the one who was the most relatable. They were trying to make us relate to him. He was the one who's like, we shouldn't be doing this, which is what the audience is thinking. By the
Yeah.
way, no one's rooting for this robbery. It's not like, fuck yeah, they need to get this done.
And no one wants
No
this
one-
blind guy to get taken advantage of.
They have not established that,
right?
and I don't think there's any way you really can.
To vote.
Maybe that's not their purpose. Whatever. At the same time, it just doesn't make me attached. He was the main character for all intents and purposes.
I totally thought it was milquetoast, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was the milquetoast dude.
Yep.
And it turns out 3/4 of the way through the movie, spoilers.
Not that you will want to go see this movie.
Not that you would want to go see this
So
movie.
please just gotta spoil it for you.
Yeah, dies, and well, he does die in the end, but she just turns to the main character because he gets knocked out or supposedly killed, and she
Yeah.
becomes the main character.
Which is really weird because like
all the motivation,
all-
everything switches to her.
yeah.
But regardless, the heist starts. Describe how the man bun handles the
Okay,
heist.
right?
It's
Okay.
hilarious.
So they're all walking around the house, right? And immediately I pick up they're doing a one shot scene, right? And what they did.
Oh, the dog. Talk about the dog.
Oh
How
yeah,
the
I know the
that
dog. I totally
stupid
forgot about that.
mechanic that didn't work.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this dog, right? That is just like this blood hungry dog, right? And so he's gonna cause a problem, obviously, getting in the house. So I don't know what they did. They threw some kind of meat over the fence. I don't know what was in it, but it supposedly knocked him out. And instead of like the dog just getting knocked down on the floor, the dog was smart enough. Oh, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go lay in my bed, Right? That didn't even make any sense to me. If it would worked as fast as I did, the dog probably shouldn't have had time to go over and get in his kennel and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Right? I would just expect him to be dead on the floor, basically.
Yeah, and then they get into the house.
So they get into the house, right, and they're looking around because they're looking for the safe, right?
Everything's barred. All the windows are barred. It's Detroit, so he's the only man living in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And Detroit's sketchy, so he's got everything barred up. Every single window, supposedly every window barred up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all searching around trying to find the old man. At what point, Man Bun.
Man Bun, he goes upstairs, right? He finds this dude's room, the blind guy's, right? He pours some kind of chemical in a water bottle, right? And punctures it. And then, like, the old guy wakes up for a second, right? Looks right at him, and then turns off the TV. So it's tense, right? So he puts down the bottle. Gas starts shooting out of it, right? He comes back downstairs. He's like, yo, the guy's out. He's gassed up. He's not waking up.
It's a good thing he stayed up in the room until the guy had passed out. Well, I guess if he'd stayed in the room, he would have been gassed out. But the whole point of that gas was to knock the dude out for good or something.
To, like, make him not a problem.
And
right?
not even a minute later into the movie, after they find a door with a latch on it where they think the safe is.
Right, where they think the safe is in this door because it's the padlock door.
The padlock door, suddenly the old man descends down the stairs and the camera turns and he's like, how many of you are there type of thing. It's like
who's there?
This Man Bun is so great at heists. He's throwing the dog the thing that doesn't work in the end. Because the dog eventually shows up in the house, which we'll get to, which is hilarious. Seeing as how everything's supposedly locked. We'll talk about that in a second, but like that didn't work. Man Bun's gas didn't work. He just he fucked everything up.
Right.
And so old man kills him, and that's kind of where it starts.
Right.
Shit
hits fan.
He knows there's people in the house, so he locks everything up.
Right. Boards crap up.
Boards everything up.
I just think it's funny that he somehow, like, again, right, he stepped on that glass. How did he know that what window he needed to go put a board over? He's blind.
That's funny. Yeah, they broke in through the bathroom window and he steps on a piece of glass and immediately
knows. Which is nowhere near the bathroom. It's like downstairs and around the corner, right? But he immediately knows, oh, this is my upstairs kitchen glass. I've stepped on this before. Or my upstairs bathroom glass. I got to put a board over that.
So, he boards it all up and everything. It's just
padlocks the front door. Because we'll get into that later, right? Padlocks the front door.
Padlocks it. The whole movie, the whole premise is they're locked in because the bars, the locks, and everything. But it's hilarious because there's multiple times in the movie where things get in and things get out. For instance, there's a scene where they're up in the room, in the bedroom. The old man he's running after them.
Yeah, he's found him.
Old man's running after him, and they lock themselves in a room, push a wardrobe in front of the door, so him and the dog. Oh, fuck. We got to talk about we'll talk about that in a second since I'm already on this. But anyways, he's trying to break in. The wardrobe's blocking the door. Girl crawls through a vent. And dude is, eventually the dude breaks through because he knocks him over. And then the dog comes charging in. And the whole scene, they were like, they get in the room, they bar it up, and they're like, okay,
what window?
Which window?
Is that your window open?
That window's got bars? Yeah, it's got bars. Oh, this one has bars too. We're stuck.
We're stuck, right?
Dog comes charging in.
Dog comes in, attacks kid, breaks through window. No bars. Right?
No bars.
Falls like 10 feet onto the ground, right?
Yeah, so he gets knocked out of a window. Apparently, there was no bars on it, and they checked all the windows in the room. What?
No, that doesn't work. And then the old man, like, there was obviously no even bars, because then the next scene is the old man looking out the window and shooting the glass that he's now laying on, right, to get him back into the house because he can't roll 2 feet, right? Yeah, get off the roof and escape.
The point is just ridiculous mechanics. And again, with the dog, there was a scene where the front.
I'll explain this one. So like there's a scene where they go into a basement area, right? Because the old man,
which was kind of cool. I actually liked the mechanic of how it went dark. And they were kind of blind as well. Because the old man shut the power off.
Which was a little bit later, after he had gotten in, right? So because they go in this basement, and there's this, first off, there's this chick, right? He's tied up.
The story.
Right.
Is that the story?
Yeah, apparently.
That's like a sub-story that takes over as the main story.
The story about the old man was the reason why he has this money is because this rich girl from a rich family killed his daughter, the army dude, in a car accident, right? So she ends up not going to jail. They pay him off with a big settlement, right? Not to speak out and stuff. Well, apparently somehow he gets a hold of this girl, which throughout the entire movie, no one ever explains how this girl's missing all of a sudden.
Like they wouldn't have suspected him.
Right, exactly, right? And it's been years, obviously, that she's been with him, right? Or something.
At least a year.
Or at least a year or
'Cause of
something. Yeah, because
pregnancy thing.
he ends up getting her pregnant, right? Because his theory is if she took his daughter away, then she has to give him a new one.
Mm.
Dude, you're like
Weird.
you're
It's
60
just
something
jacked
old.
up. The
Just
whole
jacked
thing.
up. And so,
But the
right,
dog mechanic,
right?
the
So
bad
the guy
luck.
runs outside, right? Which he must have gone to the front door because when they opened it's like the cellar door, right, which was locked from the inside. The guy's right there, right, the blind dude. So he wrecks crap up, right, and comes into the basement room, right. And so they eventually get back upstairs again, right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get back upstairs, and all of a sudden the dog's inside. So whatever that knockout stuff was didn't even last like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
If that.
If that, right? It hasn't been that long. the
So his
dog's
knockout
calling-
stuff sucks.
Yeah, he cannot knock out anybody at all. And so the dog's inside, right? And so eventually they get away from the dog and get back to the front door. But the front door's padlocked again.
So how'd the dog get in?
So what must have happened somehow is the guy got outside, let the dog in, went back outside, and somehow padlocked the door from the inside.
Because then he ended up in the basement because
ended
he
up
went
in
through the
basement
cellar
'cause
door.
He went through the cellar door, which means he was outside of the house, which means the padlock somehow got locked from the outside of the door.
Yeah, horrible.
It doesn't make any
mechanics.
sense at all. Just
There was just some
terrible holes.
just bad move. Yeah, plot holes, mechanical holes all around, bullet hole. It was just bad. And like, there's another silly thing that it's just a minor thing, but like the amount of shots he took with the Beretta and the Magnum, he took way like the Magnum only has 6 bullets in it or something like that. He at least shot 12 times of that thing. The Beretta, he shot at least 30 times. There's no way that mag has 30 bullets. But just like regardless, there's tons of plot holes, like silly little things like that, where it just takes you out of the movie. You're just like, what the heck? You can't even relate to the characters. You're not sure if you're rooting for the old man or them. And the only reason you end up rooting for the old man is because of the whole like pregnancy thing, where eventually, after you think Milquetoast Man's dead too, because he got in a fight, chick gets captured.
Well, you think she dies too?
Yeah, you think
Like,
she dies too.
He chokes the crap out of her, right? And she goes limp.
Yeah.
So I thought the movie was over at that point.
And then they enter this weird rape mechanic. So you know the whole thing that you had explained. He needs a kid.
Right, and she said
He ends up accidentally shooting the prisoner, the rich girl, because they were trying to free her, which is stupid. It's a horror movie mechanic. They get down. They're almost barely. They can escape. They can escape. They're right at the cellar door. They made it into the basement. The cellar door is right there, and they see this chick. All right, what's better? They have the money. They have everything. If they just leave, they can, call the cops, get them involved, and let them sort that. No. Instead of
They gotta
leaving,
be the
they
hero.
have to save her, even though they're fucked if they do, right? He's on them. He knows what's up.
you already heard his footprints running.
He heard him,
downstairs.
so he's coming. They try and save her. Time is of the essence. They get her. They're running. Boom. He kicks open the door and shoots her, right? So now he needs a new pregnancy, and it's got to be the girl, the new one that he captured, the main character, apparently. And he's going to rape her, but not just rape her.
No, he's gonna take a freaking
Turkey baster of his old jizz in the freezer.
Yeah, he's like that is
Warming up
confusing
his
to me.
jizz.
How did he know? Like, because how long ago did his daughter die? Because obviously this girl isn't that old, right? And she must have not been there that very long. So it's
She was
not
probably at least been there 6-7 months because she hadn't given birth to his kid yet.
right. And so, like, what was the point? Why did he have frozen sperm? Like, how
Well, he
long ago
froze-
was he preparing for this? Because he's like 67.
Maybe he froze his 4 vials of sperm a long time ago. Just had
in
them laying
case.
around. He's just kind of always kept them, in case. I don't know. Fucking whatever. I don't know. It's just dumb. Whatever it is. And disturbing as
It's
F.
gross.
It's really gross.
It's rare when I just get disturbed by a movie.
Yeah.
I was
Turkey baster.
disturbed.
You're seeing cum bubbles.
Yeah.
Literally, cum drips. Bloop, bloop. He takes her yoga pants, slits them with scissors. Really just dark, creepy. So that's the only reason in the end you start rooting for her slightly, is just because he's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like the hole goes deeper and deeper. Blind army veteran, the kids are robbers. Next thing you know,
The guy's a kidnapper,
rapist, just dripping old crust bag, and it's disgusting, and you're confused and pissed because that's like the whole reason they were there. They could have prevented that so many times. It's just the classic horror movie thing you were talking about. It's just like the whole movie wouldn't have happened at least 3 times if they just used their fucking brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Honestly.
it's just all horror movies are like that. I swear,
It sucks.
it does suck. It's just unfortunate. And overall, it's just the movie. You think it ends 4 times.
Literally, like 4 times. I'm like, okay, this, I guess it could end here. I'm like, oh, wait, it's still going. And by the end of it, I was just ticked off.
Yeah.
I was just mad.
She leaves, comes back, leaves, all this crap. A funny note at the end, because she had to use the panic alarm to finally kill him, because the noise drove him nuts, so she could use the alarm noise to beat him with a crowbar till he died, apparently, but not.
You know, he wasn't dead.
So the panic alarm is hilarious because literally within 5 minutes, 3 minutes of her hitting that panic alarm and him dying, she leaves and a cop shows up. In Detroit, they don't just show up like that. It takes like an hour or so before a cop will show up in Detroit. That's funny. So
Yeah, she almost gets seen running out the
almost
door.
gets seen. You know?
Right.
It's like hilarious. Nothing really worked. It was all a little sloppy. What I'll say is, well, it's not the worst movie I've seen. It's not terrible. It's just not good.
They just didn't care.
They just didn't.
They knew what they were making. They knew that there was errors. They didn't care.
The McDonald's of movies.
Exactly.
Just cheap, fast, easy to make. In a house, 1 set, 3 no-name actors, 4 with the old dude. You don't have to pay much. 1 location, so it's cheap. Just the crew. Money, money. People go see a horror movie. Money. Interesting premise, though. Right? Like, I think I liked the idea of it. I don't know. What are your final thoughts on this thing?
I don't know. It's hard because like they try to. I don't even know. It's weird. They just try to kind of throw things together. I feel like, right? They kind of like, oh, we'll like throw this mechanic in, but it doesn't really work well with this mechanic, right? Or they like the kind of the story, right? They kind of just threw that together, right? They didn't put like a lot of effort into like making you want to watch the movie. So that was my biggest thing. Is I just didn't want to be there. Right, there was no characters that I was attached to. Right, when they died, I was like, "Oh, they're dead. Okay,
yeah,
move on."
Give a crap.
Right. And the only thing that made me mad is when I thought they killed them all, and I'm like, "So just no one wins." Okay.
Yeah, but then the movie starts up again.
Yeah,
and then again,
and then again,
and again.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. Just not my favorite. The other horror movies, even Lights Out, I feel like it was better than this.
Yeah, I would say Lights Out. I don't know, cause like, ugh. They're just so blah, both of them. These blah horror movies.
True.
It's just like, It wasn't even scary, too.
It wasn't. Like, it's a blind dude, right? It's not relatable, right? Like, I feel like the cool thing about horror movies is like you can almost feel like if you were to go home and run into the same thing, like The Conjuring, that freaked me out.
Well, was this a thriller? Or it was marketed as a horror movie.
Oh, yeah. Definitely marketed as a horror movie.
That's for sure. Marketed as a horror movie, but it was more of a...
Like, it wasn't
a thriller.
It wasn't scary at all. It was just like tense and being pissed off the entire time.
Because of dumb decisions. Because of the main characters, of course, as in all horror movies.
Yeah, I just got to mention the biggest dumb decision, right? So the milquetoast guy, right? He says he quits it because the guy pulls out a gun, right?
Yeah.
Quits it. He walks out of the house. He's about to climb over the fence.
Why did he quit though? Because when you bring a gun, like you have to.
Right. It's gonna be like.
He gives him the right to shoot you.
Yeah, right?
So
he doesn't
the
wanna
asshole
die.
man bun guy brought a gun to the robbery.
Yeah, so now
now
the old
Milquetoast
guy is legally right to kill him.
Yeah.
Right? And so the Milquetoast guy's like, nope, I'm done, right? So he goes out, the man bun dude does a warning shot, shoots off of the shot against the old man, right? Old man ends up killing him, and the old man, I think, takes another shot, right?
Yeah, so there's 3 shots in between
shots.
Milquetoast guy leaving because of a gun.
And then he walks back in the house because he hears 3 gunshots.
Genius.
And then the old man walks past him. He's like, oh no, it was the old man that ended up having the gun, right? So he doesn't know what's going on, right? And so he goes deeper into the house. Just that whole thing.
And then he gets boarded inside.
Yeah, he gets boarded inside, and then he dies. So
Genius.
The whole reason he didn't want to be in the house ended up getting him killed anyway. So
the reason is the the love he has for, what was her name? Rocco.
I don't even remember what her name
Lady's
was.
name was Rocky or something. He loved her. Okay. He was just the nice guy
I
syndrome.
don't even remember his name.
Oh, hell no, if I remember his name.
I don't remember the.
I don't remember
names.
any of their names.
And the blind dude was never even given a name.
Mm-mm.
His
Just
name
blind
was
dude.
Blind dude. That's like
He's coming. Shh. He's coming. You know, like no one. I don't remember anyone's names except for I think Rocky. Maybe I think it was Rocky.
doesn't sound familiar to me.
Well, it's probably not. Then I'm not even sure. It was just a forgettable movie. I'll forget this movie in a day, or if not, I won't even remember this movie's existence by the end of the week. That's for sure. That's for sure. The only reason I remembered Lights Out is because you just brought it up. Totally forgot that movie ever entered my head.
Oh wow.
Yeah, several of those movies. It's just one of those movies. Easily forgettable. Nothing to see here unless it's just a date night and you have nothing to care about. You just need to look at something.
Basically, that's what it's for. If you just need to look at something, this movie's great for that.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment value, not so good. But just to stare at a blank screen or a screen that's basically blank,
there was literally
it
a
works.
part where it was like the third time I thought it ended, and she's getting dragged back into the house because she escapes, gets to the car, and then the old man shows up. Some dude in the back of the theater literally goes, oh, "Great!"
Exactly.
Like some old dude too.
It's like, oh, great.
Oh, great. You know,
Right?
like that sums it up. It's just like kind of frustratingly hilarious. I was legitimately laughing at some parts in this movie pretty hard. Like when she fell down the vent because the dog gets into the vent.
Of course, like the dog A knows how to climb on top of something and enter a vent, and B knows the girl is in the vent.
Yeah, girl's in the vent. Dog hops up on the armoire and crawls into the vent after her, and she's looking down a pit because the vent kind of forks into like a three-way
So
thing. It's like
here,
keep going straight,
down,
and there's
then
a drop.
A little bit later, there's a straight again. So she's
like
trying to climb into here. Dog, she's like, nope,
but there's a
I
20-foot drop.
Just
So she has to
head
head face plant
She
down.
literally face plants.
It's hilarious. Just the whole
Just-
scene. I was just laughing my butt off. And then when it comes back to her after some other scene, every movement of hers is
There- oh yeah, like bones popping. Like it's like she's going to a chiropractor.
yeah, every single bone in her entire body pops, and it was hilarious. And I was just kind of laughing to myself. It was just
Honestly.
funny. And not to in terms of the sound design, the bones, and then every single time they used a gun in the movie,
It just they
the
like
weapon sounds were
and
just hilarious.
it's
Just you move it a little bit, you hear the entire gun
Yeah,
just
like-
rattle.
and they were trying to like make it artsy too because like you were like almost being the old man, right? Because everything sound wise was amplified. But even when the old man wasn't around, like when she would smoke a cigarette, it like when she would take a puff, like you would
just
not
exaggerated
hear
loud
that.
noises.
Or my favorite one is when he finds out that he killed the girl, right? He steps in her pile of blood. It sounds like he like jumped into a puddle. It's literally just not. It's not a puddle. It's just like a laying flat on the ground.
Like a
Should
puddle
not
noise
have
would just
made-
be like a little,
right,
or like
it was like
yeah. You know, it's just the noise is a little overdone in
Yeah.
the movie. I maybe they were trying to, like you were saying, go for that blind man mechanic. I didn't get that at all. I think the sound design was just make it pop more. Someone
Yeah.
was like, make it, you know,
It's like,
give it some oomph.
it's like the only thing they like gave any extra care and thought about was the stupid sounds that hindered the movie in the end.
Yeah, it's just a little too overdone. Regardless, we shit on this movie enough. Not a good movie. Wouldn't recommend it. But
Don't
if you
recommend it.
if you're on a date night and you don't have anything better to do, you need to look at something. Just kind of
Watch Conjuring 2. That's what I say.
watch the. If you can't watch The Conjuring 2, if you have the misfortune of having this movie being the only one to watch,
Go ahead.
I guess. You know, it's just good for dates. I guess. I don't. Maybe. You know, just outro this shit.
All right, well, that's about it for what are we calling this? The script. So tune in next time when we do our next video.